Hope you've been enjoying your stay.
I've been peeing myself this entire stay, actually. I've been drinking so many Rizzo bottles that my pee is coming out of me in various different colors. There it is.
Discrepancy detected. This bottle, recently discarded, contains residue from foreign substances. Chemical analysis complete. This unit has detected the following substances: oil, terrare, blood, terrare, unidentifiable biological fluids, terrare.
Gross.
Items are disappearing from Slug's storage and processing warehouse. The thefts began a week before Helen's unfortunate death, and there have been more instances since. Before you ask, I know the difference between cargo going missing and cargo going missing. This is the latter.
What's gone missing specifically?
Nothing unsavory, and nothing Ludovico shouldn't know about, if that's your concern. I'm quite serious when I say Slug is a legitimate business. As to the specifics, I'm not sure. The warehouse foreman should be able to tell you. Before you ask, I know the difference
You said
between
that already.
cargo going missing and cargo going missing. This is the latter.
Cedric, buddy, what the hell are you talking about? Sorry, didn't mean to bother you. Didn't mean to bother you none. That's not right.
That really bums me out!
Please don't kill me!
Oh, I ain't no hunter. At least not in the traditional sense. Wrenches always suited me better than firearms.
Yeah, wenches always suited me better, so
Mechanical
you know what
under
I'm
my
saying?
care up and wandered off, that's all.
Why is there a red dot on the screen, man? Got that purple berry munch. I'm snacking on that purple berry munch, if you know what I'm saying. Fuck, dude, no. That's awful.
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby. Discrepancy detected. The pressure regulator on this barrel is prone to malfunctioning and may detonate with the assistance of an explosive. No explosives detected. This batch of purpleberry juice is rancid. Ingestion may lead to violent gastronomic maladies. No explosives detected. This device has a blinking light for decorative purposes. It was intended to improve worker morale by making common objects
More
around the
interesting to look
facility
at.
more interesting to look at. No
Nice.
explosives detected. This fuel canister is hazardous and may easily detonate with the assistance of an explosive. No explosives detected. This device seems to have several explosives packed inside, along with a remote detonator. Multiple explosives detected.
I just wanted to make you smile!
That's not right. do they do that, man? Your leg.
The FPS. I fixed it, mind you. I'm not gonna die not having done my job. But I can't go release the gas without authorization. I'd be fired.
Yeah, that'd be the worst part about it, huh? Damn, bro. Oh. That's not how I expected that to go. Gotcha. Goodbye, Vidius.
Earth isn't coming to save us. So we're going to have to save ourselves.
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment he landed in Emerald Vale, his actions altered the course of history. The riots in Tartarus ended in a total victory for the Board. Without any significant threats to challenge their power, the Board asserted their control over the colony. The Lifetime Employment Program began immediately, and the people of Halcyon did exactly what they were expected to do. They obeyed. Sophia Akande converted the labyrinth from a prison to a processing center. She jettisoned the original colonists out of the Hope and transformed the ship into a massive storage facility. One by one, the workers of Halcyon surrendered themselves to the program. They arrived with their families and their friends, their colleagues and their neighbors, and then, one by one, they marched into their stasis chambers. As the workers of Halcyon slept in their hibernation chambers, their settlements became ghost towns, left behind by the Board to be reclaimed by nature. Only Byzantium remained, a shining beacon of civilization in an otherwise abandoned colony. The people of Byzantium spent the rest of their days gorging themselves on their stockpile of resources. As for the workers of Halcyon, they never felt the effects of the collapse. They never felt anything at all. The Board's focus on Byzantium closed the door on much of Sanjar's civil liberties movement. As the last few townships withered away, MSI had little room to grow. Ever the savvy businessman, however, Sanjar pivoted and established Stellar Bay as the colony's supplier of luxury seafood. Catering to the elite, MSI was allowed to continue operations as a member of the Halcyon Board, and became more successful than Sanjar could ever have dreamed. Consumed by paranoia, Lilia Hagen took Sublight Salvage in a controversial direction, openly accusing Board officials of an extraterrestrial conspiracy. One day, an accident at the Groundbreaker's docking bay silenced her forever. Time would tell if her replacement could keep the Sublight family together. Edgewater's cannery met its production quota for the first time in 3 years. As a result, the adjutant rewarded every worker in Edgewater with a place in the Lifetime Employment Program. Reed Dobson was granted 25 years in suspended animation. However, a computing error adjusted his duration to 250 years. A trouble ticket to resolve this error remains open.
Damn.
While the Groundbreaker remained mechanically stable, the changing times forced Junlei Tennyson to make some difficult calls on behalf of her community. The work of maintaining independence was an uphill climb, and she found herself caving to bad faith compromises with the Board. Time will tell if the Groundbreaker can endure. As smaller settlements were swallowed up and their workers drafted into the Lifetime Employment Program, Byzantium continued to thrive. While its citizens lived in decadence and extravagance, a small cadre of scientists worked to solve the nutrition crisis that threatened Halcyon. no one else much noticed the townships that disappeared from the map, or the luxuries that slowly lost their luster year by year. Even the Gorgon asteroid, though a distant enigma to most of Halcyon, felt the aftershocks of your actions. Gorgon's restored facilities presented a tantalizing boon to the Lifetime Employment Program. The promise of a more productive, more compliant workforce. It was too good for Akande to pass up, especially when Tartarus and the many underperforming townships across Terra 2 offered fodder for additional research. Minnie Ambrose found herself leading the project under Akande's watchful eye. Her organizational acumen kept the project afloat, but just barely. With the specter of failure ever present, she came to appreciate the struggles the late Dr. Ambrose had faced. In spite of everything, the Gorgon asteroid remained a sobering reminder of the potential for progress and disaster in humanity's most ambitious efforts. Administrator Ludovico never lived to see the launch of Spectrum Brown. It happened in a private event in Byzantium to an elite gathering of dilettantes who wanted to sample the drink that killed Halcyon Helen. Spectrum Brown was briefly popular in the months following the Lifetime Employment Program, but fell out of favor once Byzantines realized it couldn't dull the inevitable onset of ennui. The sheer volume of substances consumed by the average Byzantine had the effect of countering the parasite's influence. Host to the parasite rarely turned violent, and the few who did were discreetly rounded up and deposited outside the walls. The Lifetime Employment Program led to a boom in the Aetherwave industry, as more and more Byzantines demanded entertainment. With the absence of Ruth Bellamy, the question on everyone's mind was, who could be the next Halcyon Helen? Burbage 3001's performance during the investigation on Eridanos made it the ideal contender for Helen's replacement. Some years later, after Odeon Pictures released the brand new Burbage 3002 model, it was found mysteriously destroyed by a plasma weapon. After Spectrum Brown's widespread distribution, Spencer Woolrich experienced a sudden upswing in his popularity. Viewers found his on-screen conduct to be more boisterous, energetic, and personable than ever before. The wide grin constantly beaming from his narrow face certainly helped fit his friendly image. When asked about his newfound on-screen charisma, Spencer had this to say: happy workers lead to happy customers. Happy customers are repeat customers. Bertie Holcomb adapted to his new role as a host for Parasitic Slugs surprisingly well. Perhaps because he wasn't using his brain for all that much in the first place. The Slugs put a swift, if unorthodox, end to Bertie's fears of being valued solely for his tossball skills. Of all the infected in the colony, Bertie's wild, beaming smile would always be the most genuine. The prophet of profitability was not spared from the infection quickly overtaking Eridanos. Due to her newfound chronic delight, the prophet was no longer able to effectively advise her clients on productivity. Her disciples, similarly bliss-enwrapped, lost interest in the hot, cold walks and hourly purges. Despite all this, the prophet's spirits were hardly dampened. After all, she no longer had the capacity to worry about any of her business rivals. Your influence further cemented Ellie's perspective. She understood she could never truly rely on others, so she set about making sure she wouldn't have to. With a steady income from the life insurance payouts, she was finally able to afford a ship of her own. She enjoyed a long and infamous career running missions across the system. Some of them were even legal. Felix Millstone never lived to see what became of the colony. He did not survive his encounter with you. As a reward for his part in her courageous rescue, the adjutant invited the vicar known as Max to become one of the leaders of the Order of Scientific Inquiry. But Max had no interest in serving any organization, let alone the OSI, which he knew would never tolerate his heretical theories. Instead, he attempted to minister to the people of Byzantium. They rejected his ideas, being far too satisfied with their own material comforts. Disillusioned, Max gave up and left the city. He was never heard from again. Parvati didn't survive her adventure with you. Nyoka didn't survive her adventure with you. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in Halcyon? Though Minister Clark was eventually released from house arrest, long years of isolation left him a changed man, little suited for bureaucratic work or for the colony that was changing around him. He remained in his estate largely by choice, fading from public view. Adjutant Sophia Akande was instrumental in executing the Lifetime Employment Program. While the rest of Byzantium celebrated, Sophia returned to work by partnering with you. The two of you worked hard to ensure the Lifetime Employment Program ran smoothly. With Halcyon's workers suspended in a state of hibernation, starvation and chaos are problems of the past. The Lifetime Employment Program succeeded in its goals, but that success came at a price. The Halcyon of today is nothing at all like the colony of yesteryear. Power remains concentrated in Byzantium, but all the colony's resources serve the lifestyle of the elite, thereby transforming Halcyon into one of the smallest and most exclusive colonies in the system. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? After the riots on Tartarus came to an end, you threw in your support with Sophia Akande. While Akande administered the board herself, you oversaw the Lifetime Employment Program, stamping out corruption and negligence. Under your leadership, the program ran smoothly. Halcyon's workers were treated with a modicum of dignity. Your involvement kept the board honest and allowed the board scientists to work without the meddling of bureaucracy. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.